When I was developing as a voice actor, I had just spent 5 years at ABC Networks, and it was really time to go off on my own. There was nowhere up to go. And I was invited into a consortium of 3 other voice actors, Bob Magruder and Jerry Houston, who were the senior senators of voiceover in Dallas. At that time, there was a core group of 50 or 60 people who did all the work, and then the top ones made $300,000 and $400,000 a year. Jerry would do 7-Eleven for 5 years, while Bob did American Airlines, and then they'd switch. Jerry was a great character guy, and he built a great little studio that he invited me into. And around this time, as I was developing as a character actor, I'd always done character actor, but I was coming off 20 years in radio and had kind of gotten stuck in the 10-second character voice, accent on voice. And it was I was doing mostly funny little voices. I have an expression. A voice is 2-dimensional, a character is 3-dimensional. So I'd started taking improv at that time from Randy Bennett, founding member of the Groundlings in Los Angeles, improv group. And I was starting to really understand character. I was still doing a funny voice without the internality of the character. And that's really what makes the thing engaging. That's really what makes a character. So I'd go in the booth, and Jerry would coach me. Jerry could do anything. He was a great performer, great character performer. They needed a dolphin at SeaWorld. He was the dolphin.
Pick me, the fat one.
And so Jerry would be at the board. I would be in the booth, and he would be talking to me through the talkback. And he'd say, like this. Let's say it was a situation where it's a guy and his dog, and the guy's eating some fabulous dessert, and the dog wants some. And I'm the dog. And Jerry would model it. He'd say, like this, And I'd say, God, that's great. And I would do it. Well, not quite. How do you do that, Jerry? Jerry was a great performer, but he could not teach. And he could not communicate to me the process of doing this. I had the physical talent to do the voice, but I wanted the depth of the character. And I could see his face change when he would do it, when I wasn't in the booth and we were face to face. I could say, he's going somewhere inside and becoming this character. How is he doing that? And I did many sessions with him. It just wasn't communicated to me. So that's when I started developing the method. I thought, I have to deconstruct this. I have to understand what I'm doing. There are very, very talented people in this world who understand the process internally and do it very effectively, but cannot communicate it. And if I'm going to start a voice acting school, what good is it to be able to do it and not be able to teach it and pass it on? Because that is the goal. Break it into elements and pass it on. So I began to see that the voice is just the starting point. It's great if you can do a million funny little voices. But if the character is not completely fleshed out internally, if you don't know who am I, where am I, what am I doing, who am I talking to, what is my goal? Am I straight up or manipulative? What's my general emotional adjustment? And how do I change emotional adjustments as I move through the scene? It's a big deal. Scene. This is what we teach at Voices Carey. When you hold a script in your hand, we teach you to define the scene or design a scene. And in that scene, ask the actors questions. Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? Who am I talking to? What's my relationship to this person or other character? And what am I trying to accomplish? And what am I going to do to accomplish it? How far will I go? And what method will I use? As I began to deconstruct all this, I'm not really even sure that my goal was to design a method. It just sort of happened in the process. The method started to blossom and evolve. And I thought, okay, that's what's missing, the internality. If I'm a dog, hey, I'm your best buddy. How about some of that ice cream? I began to realize that I have to fully see the scene I'm in, to use my five senses in that scene. What do I smell? What do I taste? What do I feel? To make it visceral, to make it real to me. Here's a big one. You're never doing it for an audience. You're always doing it for you. Everything we do at the higher levels of the Voices Carey Method is all about you convincing yourself that you are that character. Because if you believe it, I'm going to believe it. If you're just doing a two-dimensional, funny little voice, you don't believe it at your core. You're not living it. You're not experiencing it. And because it's not fully real to you, it will never resonate as fully real to the listener and be engaging. Engage is the first step. Hold is the second. You might be able to engage initially for a few seconds with a funny voice, but in order to hold the interest of the listener, you have to completely buy it yourself. So this process of acting in general, and more specifically, creating a character, is really you doing a psychological job on yourself. You have the script, black words on a white page, strike the organ of sight, your eye, spin around in your catalog of experience, your brain processes it, down into your pool of emotion, your heart, and out the old pie hole with that certain Bruce Carey spin on the character. The secret is to make this scene that you are living in, literally, for 30 seconds or 60 seconds or 36 episodes, completely real. To make it your only reality for that duration. Make it your whole world, inside and outside. When I say inside, I mean your head and your heart, your psyche, and your emotions. And if you are fully living in it and experiencing it, and not just trying to get through the words and not just trying to maintain a dialect, then it creates something great. You create something great.